This is a picture of Florence, Owens, Thompson. This is about 7 years into the depression. So this picture tells you very clearly what she is going through at this moment. Let's study this picture. So let me hear from you. When you look at her picture, what is the first thing that you think of?
Depressed.
Anxiety, yes. I think we got to begin properly on this. Once you understand this picture, you will understand the Great Depression. So most people look at it as an academic thing. By looking at COVID-19 also as a statistical thing, we're only counting how many lakhs. We're comparing. It's like comparing your marks. Who is first position, second position. It doesn't count the human cost. So we got to start on that. So during that time, not just this mother, but so many families were without jobs, without incomes. And part of the reason we need to study it in history is so that we don't repeat the same mistake. If the public's confidence is lost, it will be very difficult to get it back. For example, the Great Depression started in 1929. 4 years later, Roosevelt became the president. Now he made a plan to restore confidence and provide jobs. People without an income will not survive for long. And the New Deal projects put up lots of development works, construction works, building up dams.
During his first 100 days in office, FDR pushed an unprecedented slate of legislation through Congress to fight the Depression. This was the start of the New Deal.
The New Deal is a series of initiatives that imparted a much greater degree of security and safety and stability to American life in all kinds of sectors, in the banking sector, in the investment sector, in the home building and home owning sectors, employment, and so on.
Franklin Roosevelt had a great political partner in the New Deal, his First Lady. The crippling effects of the president's polio made Eleanor indispensable to him.
She could be his eyes and his ears and his legs, and she could tour the country, and she could reach out to people, and then she could bring the country back to him. She was always pushing the New Deal and him to do more in terms of social welfare and helping Americans. And I think that in many ways, we can really see her as the conscience of the New Deal.
The New Deal expanded beyond those first 100 days. In 1935, Congress passed the Social Security Act, creating a safety net for the elderly, disabled, and unemployed. Despite the passage of the Social Security Act, FDR's New Deal didn't put an end to the Depression. It would take the industrial mobilization of World War II to achieve that goal.
In a sense, he didn't succeed any better than Herbert Hoover did economically. Where Roosevelt succeeded was in exuding public confidence, making the Depression more palatable to people, giving people the impression that he really was doing something, that he really cared.
So FDR, or Franklin D. Roosevelt, he created jobs through infrastructure projects. The second thing is social security. Certain sections in the society, they need to be looked after. Old people, let's say the sick people, and during that time lots of people were unemployed. Now this carries on even till today also. If you want help from the government, they call it social security. That means if you don't have a job, you're weak, you're sick, the government will give you a little money to survive for some time. It's a very good initiative started during that time. The third and the most important thing is confidence. When you have confidence, you can move out forward. Can you get COVID-19 by joining online class?
No, sir.
But can you get it by sitting in a tight bus or even a tight, closely packed room?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It could be yes, it could be no, but you don't want to take the chance. Then you are not confident. But if I say you have to come to school and the government says maintain 6 feet, but we will maintain 10 feet or 12 feet. And all of you will come to school wearing a mask. As you enter the school, you have to use sanitizer, wash your hands. And throughout the school, you cannot mix with anyone. You have to maintain not just 6 feet, but double that, 12 feet distance. Will you still have any doubt that you will get COVID-19?
No.
I don't think so, isn't it? And your parents also will be confident and they will start sending to school. The only thing you will not feel nice is, oh, I have to stay far away from my friends. I cannot laugh with them. I cannot joke with them. Cannot play with them. But on the disease side, that is taken care of. So anyway, coming back to the Great Depression, people lost confidence. It carried on for a long time, and the steps toward getting it back was initiated by FDR.
Yes,
But
sir.
once certain rules are there, even in markets, you maintain 6 feet, come with a mask. For example, I saw a very interesting sign in Kalapar. They put a gate in front of the bazaar, and they put a sign, no mask, no entry. That means if you want to enter the market, you have to wear a mask. So naturally, people will be confident, shopkeepers, even the people who go for shopping, etc. And markets are where money and goods get exchanged. The economy is revived. Right now, the competition, I tried to revive it by putting an essay, and I've given marks, has tried to be as fair as possible. Some of you have written well. But in a competition, in an exam, there will be some who perform better than others. That's why we have to give you a rank also. It's not fair. Otherwise, nobody will even compete. If you say whether you study or not, you will still pass. Nobody will try also. So that's one of the reasons competitions, exams are necessary also to know who is best, who is fit. This will keep on getting tougher and tougher as you move ahead. Your exams in school, as you have been doing till now, are nothing. You will face much more tougher exams in the year ahead. In your class, there are those who are getting first, second, third, getting easily 70, 80%. And there are those who perform very poorly, who don't study, who are lazy, and who get very poor marks. But the majority would be in the average range. This is the middle class, let us say. So this is a lesson for you all as well. You got to work together as a group. You got to encourage each other. And this is where people, better students like Jangochon, Sarlentang, you got to help the weaker ones. Because when the result comes out, even if you get a distinction and even a state rank and a very good percentage, but if your overall pass percentage is not good, it reflects very poorly on the class, even on yourself. Even you yourself won't feel nice. So this is what happened in the Great Depression. The gap between the rich and the poor became wider, and the middle class, they dropped down till the to poverty levels. So in any healthy society, in a healthy economy rather, the middle class is very, very important. It's the middle class which has the purchasing power, and most of us are in that category. All right. Let's turn to your books, and you will find it in page 144. The British industries, they no longer had a monopoly. That means they were no longer number one in the world, and they came down like everybody else. And they realized that number one, they had to go for mass production and producing things in bulk. This is what it means. Now, how was mass production achieved? First is the use of advanced machinery or better machines. Next is the use of electrical power. In the Industrial Revolution, which began in England, what were they using for power, for energy?
Steam.
Steam, yes, they're using steam, but now it began to be used with electrical power. Next is improved transport and communication system. This is very much vital to industry. Chances are you will watch not less than 10 to 20 advertisements in a single day. In any day, you will find advertisements from Coca-Cola to Pepsi to Maruti to Yamaha. It's going on all the time. What are they telling you? It's telling you that they're communicating with you. Please buy our product. And it's not just one factory, one shop in one part of the world. It's all worldwide now. So this is part of globalization. And I think British industries, they led the way post-World Wars. Post means after the wars. Now, a large part of this has to be related to the defense industry. War is very good for business, for big business rather, because it employs people and you are producing goods which are useful at the time for war. Defense industry till now also is one of the largest income generating industries, and there's still a very big market. Countries spend a lot of their annual budgets just on defense. How is it produced? In a factory somewhere using all this advanced machinery, electrical power. How do they transport it? They transport it with various improved means, whether it's by ship, by land, or by air, it's all there. And how do people know about it? They communicate and they advertise it. Now, the last thing we will discuss is the coming up of heavy industry. Heavy industry means the manufacture of large, heavy articles and materials in bulk. Now, let's give you some examples. The oil, mining, shipbuilding, steel, chemicals, machinery. If you look at the ranking of industries, you'll always find them at the top 4, top 5, they will occupy the top places. Next part is the coming up of labor unions. They began to demand improved working conditions and wages. Their conditions were terrible and they were not getting paid very well also. Even small children were made to work, women were also working. So they began to get together and demand improved working conditions. So what they would do is they would collect small amounts of money or a small subscription and they would help the workers, give them some help. Now, what kind of help was that? Especially when they got sick or when they were out of a job. These were small associations in the beginning just to help each other, maybe to encourage each other. But this got a little bigger and they also got improvements by bargaining. Bargaining is a way of negotiating for more and through strikes. Now let's go to the meaning of bargaining first. When you go to the market, there's always a little bit of bargain. When you go for Christmas shopping, you will say kharatabio, isn't it? What does it mean? It means give a little bit lower. The shop owner also knows that you are going to bargain, so he puts his price high. And you also know that you're not going to pay that much, so you bargain. So bargaining is when both sides agree to a certain amount. In this case, the factory owners and the workers, they agree for a certain wages, or they also fought the English laws of 1799 and 1800, which forbade or did not allow legally labor unions. Now, these are also called the Combination Acts. In 1799 and 1800, the British passed a law that made it illegal. That means if you made a union or made an association of factory workers or labor workers or any labor union, you could spend up to 3 months in jail or up to 2 months hard labor. That means very heavy work, breaking stones, carrying heavy things. We're talking about the beginning or the initial stages of the Industrial Revolution. The workers had no rights, even they did not even have the right to vote. And this is also one of the reasons why democracy spread in 19th century England. Let me come out of this share topic. We will end it for now. And I think whatever speed we are going, at this rate, it's already June. We have covered, in your history, there are 6 units. I think we have covered about half already. I don't want to rush too fast. I want to go purposely a bit slow. Now, by the time we get back to school, my estimate is end of August or perhaps early September. I'm being optimistic here also. I really cannot predict. I don't want to guess, but my best guess is in August or September. Now, March up to August, how many months is that?
5.
5 months. So the only thing is to keep this studying habit alive, and taking too much staring at the computer screen or mobile screen for a long time is not really that healthy. So we'll keep it short, we'll keep it brief, and I will not take more than 30 or 40 minutes per session. And we have already covered a lot, but you still need to study on your own. Don't depend on the mobile or the computer screen. Your books are the most valuable resource available to you.
Sir, the wife of the president is called the First Lady.
Yes, the wife of the President of America is called the First Lady. But in case the President is a woman or a lady, what do we call the husband? Do we call it the First Gentleman? Or call it the First Husband? Okay, that's maybe something you can Google it. There's no clear answer to that. So far there has never been a woman President of America yet. But yes, in the case of the Great Depression, you have to remember FDR, Franklin D. Roosevelt. By the way, he was also suffering from polio. That means he was not able to move freely. You might have seen polio patients, they can't even walk properly. Some of them even have difficulties in the very normal activities. And here his wife really helped him out. Don't make the mistake that this year's batch made. They ignored it and they didn't know the answer when the question was there. Just go through it, Like you're eating a dal, just eat it and finish it up. All right. Go through it slowly. All right.